Yeah, I had a speech class. I've had a small group communication class. I've had a class, and this is probably it was my first class. It was like the first class I was ever in Syracuse. Um, I forget the name of it. It was CRS 101, I want to say. 101 or 181, one of those. And the professor's last name was Rodriguez. And he was Caribbean, and his whole thing was he would just talk the whole time, and he would just like pick on random people to like converse with them. And in the middle of a lecture hall, I'm talking 200 people, 300 people, like a huge ass lecture hall. And for freshmen first coming into college, that task is daunting. But the thing that I really appreciated about his class was the way that he was able to expand communication from something that's just verbal. So communication can be something, for example, I'm talking right now, right? And then you're nodding your head. That's communication. That tells me that you're listening to me and you're understanding what I'm saying. Um, Me just like knowing just being able to read people better, like even when you take that away, right? Communication isn't something that's human driven. When a dog is barking at you, he's trying to alert you to something. When the trees change when the trees leaves change color, season's about to change. That communicates that to you. So there's so many different ways to look at communication now based on what I've learned, and I think that that's something that's very important because it also allows you to have an appreciation for everything that's not what they want you to like focus on. Like you could really take a step back and appreciate nature now and see how birds communicate with their environment, see how squirrels communicate with trees and with nuts and just like running up and down and stuff like that. You could really see that better. So yeah, community, like that's really the biggest takeaway. I remember one time I took a um also the thing about that class too, we had to write 7 10-page papers. 7 10-page papers. Now that sounds daunting as fuck, but let me tell you, it was it wasn't as bad as it seemed, because it wasn't, you know how like you have those research papers where you have to like cite and you have to like look at, we wasn't doing that. I could literally just rant for like 10, like I could literally just get all the emotions out, just rant for 10 pages. As long as it somewhat proves my point, I get 100. So it wasn't even on some, oh, you have to heavily research this and you have to cite your sources and think. No, it wasn't none of that. It was really just being able to show that you have an understanding of that. And that really also, from doing that, really also made me realize how much I like writing as well. Because when you're able to just put words on paper and put thoughts on paper, that's completely different from being forced to do things, especially like in New York, when you're the regents, right? Do you remember the English regents when they told you a specific way to write and everyone hated it because it's like not everybody needs to write the same? Like that completely destroyed that concept for me. And now I look at writing as something more free and open. So I learned a lot of things from that class specifically, as well as so many other classes that I took there.